Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Carlton Palmer said 15 or so unanswered punches. I don't think there's an exact time frame, Sleveny. I'm just saying, if you're not punching back in a time limit that they think is satisfactory, they are advised to stop the fight. You've got to punch back. If you don't want to get stopped, you've got to punch back. I didn't say it was a rule. When did I say it was a rule? I didn't say it was a rule. I'm telling you now, the referees are instructed, in the UK at least, if you're not punching back, you're asking to get stopped. I didn't say it was a rule. You've got to punch back. You can't just cover up and not punch back. Where did I say it was a rule?
Let me ask you, if that was the other way around and Liam was inflicting those shots on Ben Whittaker, do you think Howard Foster would have jumped in?
I would hope that he would have done. It's irrelevant. What's happened's happened. Yeah, of course he could have let it go on for a couple more punches. If he absorbed them and got himself back in, who knows what happened. But the fact of the matter is Ben was letting his shots go. Sometimes you're not throwing shots back, then the referee has to stop him. I always say to fights, even if you're not a big puncher, you're letting your shots go and there's no response. Sometimes the referees jump in.
Us older boxing heads, or you don't even have to be an elder boxing head. Knowledgeable boxing heads, we know these things. I'm realizing now a lot of the fan base who watch boxing, they do not educate themselves on a lot of things they talk about concerning the sport. They don't educate themselves. There was people in the chat talking about, well, what if he's blocking all the punches? No, you've got to punch back. Well, how long do they give you? There's no certain time period they give you to punch back. But if you're taking the punches, you have to have the awareness to gauge the situation and throw something back in case the referee steps in. Even Grant Smith, Liam Cameron's coach, would have briefed him up on these things. You're talking about he blocked all the punches. He didn't block all the punches. The first right hand that landed did a lot of damage. The two body shots that Ben threw hurt him. The final shot before Howard Foster jumped in hurt him. And just because you're blocking some punches, maybe the majority of the punches, it doesn't mean you're not in trouble. He looked like he was in trouble to me.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
So what are they saying? July the 12th penciled in for Alexander Usyk, Daniel Dubois, all 4 belts on the line. Wembley Stadium. That's big. That's big. That's big. The results of Daniel's last 3 fights have led to a belief that he can overturn the result of his first fight with Usyk. There was controversy with the low blow, which I don't really get, yeah? They're making a big deal about the alleged borderline punch that Daniel threw. But it was no more legal than the body shot that Anthony Joshua hit Usyk with that made him turn away. Why didn't they make a big deal about that? Consistency in human beings is something you can't rely on. Unless you pull up the receipts on them, they really are not very consistent. Does beating Jarrell Miller or Anthony Joshua, Usyk beat twice, and Filip Hrgović suggest that Daniel can do any better in a rematch? I'm not sure. It'd be exciting to see if he can. He is in a rich vein of form. And Wembley Stadium, is that ambitious? For how much is Frank Warren planning to get in there? 90,000? 80,000 would be a good goal for that fight. If he can do 90, outstanding. I mean, it is a 4-belt undisputed heavyweight title fight. I don't think Daniel has made his way into a crossover attraction, even with the rich vein of form that he's in. We know Alexander Usyk very well in the United Kingdom. Joseph Parker will be extremely disappointed that he didn't get a shot at Usyk and that he didn't get a shot at Daniel Dubois. They are talking about Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker too, though. That's very interesting. Be a great chance for Anthony to redeem himself, and it'd be a great opportunity for Joe Parker to enhance his already impressive resume. A resume that's amongst the best in the division.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Now I'm a bit slow on the news right now. Haven't been able to follow it as keenly as usual. But am I seeing right here? Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda, with Hamza Shiraz versus Edgar Berlanga on the undercard, is set to happen in New York. July the 12th, same date as Usyk versus Dubois. Obviously it's workable because there's a time difference. Big weekend of boxing, that is, man. Shakur will have his hands full with the volume punching ZEPEDA. ZEPEDA will have his hands full with the southpaw skills and speed of Stevenson. And Shiraz versus Belanga. Who came up with that concoction? That sounds good. They got Golden Boy, Matchroom, Queensbury fighters all over the card. But this is a Ring Magazine promoted card. They've got the likes of Puello defending his WBC junior welterweight title on that card against Subriel Matthias. Ooh. And David Morrell. Looks like a pretty good card.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Shakur, 2-fight deal. This is the last fight on his Matchroom contract, and we're hearing that he's not going to renew with Matchroom.
Dan Raphael reporting that Shakur signed with Lou DiBella.
Yeah, I have a 2-fight deal with Shakur Stevenson and Turki Al-Sheikh. I was just with him 2 hours ago. We've planned the ZEPEDA fight. Beyond that, I don't know. I mean, I don't have any contract promotional options beyond that. July 12th, we'll go into that fight and hopefully we can extend. Beyond that, we're already in talks to extend. But yeah, we'll be there July 12th.
Cheers, Eddie. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Also hearing that Shakur is leaving James Prince. Lou DiBella will be promoting his next fight. But what are they talking about next fight? ZEPEDA? Surely that's a breach of contract if he bells a Matchroom for the ZEPEDA fight. And then beyond that, Eddie himself said he's got no promotional obligations with Shakur. And if Eddie can't get him the Tank fight in particular, he's not going to want to pay him between $4 and $7 million, which allegedly Shakur will get when he's promoted by Lou DiBella. And I'm working it out like this. Lou must have some fights already set up for Shakur. Like if he beats ZEPEDA, Lou's probably got a deal with the PBC. Bring Shakur over here to fight Gervonta Davis. Gervonta's running out of opponents. So Shakur beats ZEPEDA. If Tank beats Lamont, that'd be a huge fight across the pond. The Lomachenko fight probably won't net him that much, and Lomachenko, in my opinion, is just a lame holding onto a belt that he doesn't need to. I mean, Lou has put on a few cards on DAZN and co-promoted with the likes of Eddie, but he doesn't have a network deal. And it's all went haywire since Shakur spoke about Turki going back on the number he was going to pay him for the ZEPEDA fight and getting his towel boys to relay the message to Shakur rather than going direct to Shakur himself. Shakur has since apologized. The ZEPEDA fight is on, and then Dan Raphael reveals that Shakur's leaving Matchroom. So it's all gone a bit crazy, and you don't know what to believe. Somebody even brought up the receipt where Lou DiBella said Shakur is a boring fighter. Was the last time Lou DiBella signed any male world champions? Someone else is behind this. It's not Lou DiBella operating by himself. My opinion, of course. Haven't heard anything from Lou DiBella, Shakur, James Prince. But the way Eddie Hearn has responded, some people are saying, is Dan Raphael lying? Why would he lie? Does he have dodgy sources? Not a good look for him if any of that is true. Shakur, of course, has got to look out for what's the best deal for him financially. But he doesn't want to get bogged down in all this speculation. He's got it all to do with that work rate from ZEPEDA. If he loses to ZEPEDA, all this money talk will mean what? He'll be a free agent who just can't demand a lot of dough. That's all he'll be. He better fix up them hands and do what he's supposed to do against ZEPEDA.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Boots, being the super champion, holding 2 belts, even if he doesn't unify against Brian Norman next, he gets to navigate that second day weigh-in, or the less nicer way to phrase it, rehydration clause. So he'll take on his mandatory Gasayev next, ordered by the WBA. And they're saying if he wins and Ryan Garcia beats Rowley, Ryan will get a crack at Boots. Based on what? The best win of his career was overturned to a no contest because he took Osterine. What has he done at lightweight, light welterweight, or welterweight to get a crack at 147, apart from being a name? He hasn't earned a crack at a world title at 147. This is crazy. And I thought he was supposed to fight Devin Haney if he gets past Rowley and Devin gets past Ramirez. I don't believe he's going to fight Devin, and I don't believe he's going to fight Boots. Look who he's fighting next. He's fighting Rowley. This guy was talking about Terence Crawford, and now you're fighting Rowley. Give me a break. The Gasayev fight, no one's interested in that for Boots. I'd rather see him and Brian Norman fight for 3 straps. Big up everything boxing.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Chris Eubank Jr. failed to make the weight. And it's our understanding that Eubank Jr. will be fined something in the region of $500,000.
Everything I'm telling you the truth. Sparring did like round 4 or 5. He said, oh no, I need a minute. And afterwards, about round 4 and 5, you can ask everybody else, he was sitting down on a ring rope because he was like kind of tired. Come to round 5, 6 and 7, he started feeling the pace. God is my witness, I'm not telling you a lie. Then in round 8, Conor put it on him. What did he do? Stop sparring. Conor put it on him. He couldn't even come out for the 8th round. God is my witness.
Denzel Bentley said Conor's got good power and he can handle himself well against bigger guys. And Conor's dad, Nigel, is revealing Conor stopped the 168-pound IBF champion who fights Canelo in less than 2 weeks. William Scully stopped him. Conor is a lot smaller than Chris, and he needs circumstances to be in his favour. Like, Chris's 34, 35 years just catch up to him. Chris's decline becomes a factor in this fight, and I do believe he is in decline. When's the last time we saw a Chris Eubank on some volume punching? It's been a while. Can he still do it? I see Conor exploding from the legs, jumping from one side to the other of your guard like Mike Tyson. It did look impressive, but it would be harder to execute in the fight. I believe Conor's speed and foot movement is going to give Eubank a lot of hassle. It's all dependent on how long Conor can keep it up for. Junior came in 2 pounds over, then went to take off the rest of the weight and was unsuccessful. He was half an ounce over, so it's just fractional. But that's cost him $500. Why are they talking in dollars? Fights in the UK and we use pound notes over it. I don't know. It's not a good sign for Chris. And is his dad being proved right? At 35, trying to make 160, it must be a chore. And he still has to go through that rehydration clause. I tell you what, I've done a breakdown and a prediction. I've had to scrap that because of the latest developments. But I'm going to pick Conor Benn to perhaps snatch this one. Just based on that. This fight costing Chris a lot of money. 100k fine for slapping Conor with the egg. 50k to compensate the fighters who didn't get paid in 2022. 500k, whatever that's converted into pounds, for missing weight. If Conor can't beat this Chris here, Chris is dysfunctional. Chris has been arrogant in the last few years in terms of his training regime, not really letting no one take charge of the camp, threw his dad out of camp, bringing in Roy Jones. The rehydration clause, what's the penalty if he breaks the rehydration clause? What's to say he doesn't make the rehydration clause tomorrow? What's the penalty? Chris is taking this fight, like Eddie Hearn said. Eddie's right. It's for the money. Conor's a 147-pound fighter, but Chris is a depleted fighter. He's a poker player. And whatever else he does in his downtime, that's what he is. I'm going to pick Conor. If Chris wins, well done. It'll probably be his last big win. Going over to Ben Shalom could have been the final nail in the coffin, because how Ben could be overseeing your career and you still got to make that rehydration clause. Forget second day weighing Robert W. Smith. Rehydration clause. Torture. For a 35-year-old guy, Chris is a big dude. Rehydration clause for money? Are you crazy? Listen, hey, his dad ain't as crazy as you guys are saying. Let's just say this. Conor Benn for the win tomorrow.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Aaron McKenna takes on Liam Smith, the veteran. Liam, he's deep into his 30s. He's been around forever, it seems. This is his first fight back since losing the rematch to Junior. What's he got left in the tank? Now, let me talk about my biases. My biases are against Aaron McKenna's style and his brother Stevie, because I'm not seeing much technique there. But I did see a clip where Aaron was actually standing up and boxing, although it was still cumbersome to me and a bit amateurish. He fights down to the height of his opponent, and he's a really tall middleweight. And him and his brother throw punches just for the sake of throwing them. They throw so many that You see a lot of shots they deliver with no snap on them. And don't get me wrong, Aaron can punch a little. He punches a little harder than Stevie. The right uppercut is there for Liam as Aaron overextends, crouching down to get to his opponent's height. The right uppercut and the jab when Aaron comes in square. This is Aaron's first step up. He hasn't really fought any craftsman as such who could expose his flaws. You saw what happened to his brother Stevie against Lee Cutler just the other month. And Liam should have enough in the tank if his punch resistance ain't gone and if he's still got some ambition left to avoid an early blitz from McKenna, because that's what he's going to do. He's just going to come out and throw punches. But once Liam has worked out the sweet spots where to smack Aaron up, like the body, you would expect Liam to come out with a stoppage win. I don't expect Liam to outpoint this guy. I expect Liam to stop him because Aaron just comes in too reckless like his brother Stevie. But it could be exciting while it lasts. And Liam's going to try and old man him, you know what I'm saying? Because Liam is good at pacing himself, I should say. He is good at pacing himself. And a likely scenario is that he lets Stevie burn himself out and then take over to punish him.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
A lot of the experts, the guys on, the DAZN panels have said, you're about to see the truth.
Yeah.
Come over here. This isn't Billiam Smith returning after Zerda. You're about to see the truth in the UK.
He's stepped in a hornet's nest. He was proper fucked up. That's for sure. Obviously, Billiam has fought in the biggest stages. He earned it. My disdain for him can't take away anything he's done.
But is there something you don't like? Because I've heard you say, he's a dog, but I'm a bigger dog. There was a couple of words said, and I don't want to misquote you about the fact that his family might be weeping after. Is there something that you don't like, or is he just an opponent?
I don't like the fact that he didn't shake my hand at the Okoli Billiam Media Day. So I expect to hit him with my best shot, and he still be there. So I'm going to hit him again.
And does that compilation of best shots end with you standing over Chris Billiam Smith at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
When the EMTs get in, they won't allow me to come to him. I won't get a chance to stand over him because the EMTs won't allow me close to him.
Brandon Glanton sounding very threatening for his upcoming bout on the undercard of Benn versus Eubank. He takes on Chris Billiam Smith. Brandon, 33 years of age, has a record of 20 wins, 17 inside the distance, 2 losses. Chris Billiam Smith, 20 wins, 13 inside the distance, 2 losses. He's 34 years of age. I'm trying to work out Brandon. Is that who he is? Your family's going to be weeping. I won't be able to stand over you because the ATMs won't allow me to get near you. It's not appropriate language, in all truth. But he said it. And now he's going to have to back up his talk. Should be a good fight. Chris Billiam Smith, he's considerably taller than Brandon, who's 5'11". Chris is 6'3". He needs to get close up to Chris and rough him up. So he's really trying to set the agenda for a war of attrition. He's trying to intimidate Chris. This is Billiam's first fight back since he lost to Zerdo Ramirez in their unification last November. Chris will be favoured to win this, however, beating the likes of Richard Riatpour, Lawrence Okoli. And Brandon was upset because Chris didn't shake his hand for when Chris fought Lawrence Okoli for the WBO title. Glanton was Lawrence Okoli's sparring partner. It seems to me like he's making stuff up to justify his dislike for Chris Billiam Smith and perhaps work himself up into a frenzy so by fight time he can go at Chris Billiam Smith with some venom. We'll see if he can back up his talk. This went under the radar. If Chris was champion and Brandon was speaking like that, it would come under more scrutiny. There is a bit of a height disparity, but Brandon won't have to go looking for Chris Billiam Smith. Chris is not a slickster. Shane will have Chris boxing to a game plan, and he will use the jab. But I'll be shocked if Brandon can't draw him into exchanges. I can't remember no one who couldn't draw Chris Billiam Smith into exchanges. We don't want to see no families weeping. We don't want to see no ambulances getting involved, like Brandon suggested. But hopefully he can keep that energy, and it should be a real good fight. The Ramirez fight was 6 months ago, and they say Chris Billiam Smith is a quick healer. Broke his right thumb, fractured his left hand, and suffered a deep cut above his eye. This is the acid test for Chris. He doesn't have a belt no more. And every fight is life and death. Apart from Richard Riakpo, where Richard just didn't show up at all. But he has a lot of wars, Chris. And he's accumulating injuries, not only in fights, but I'm assuming in sparring. And we'll see if he can keep putting his body through it. Brandon is going to look for the ring center to put his head on Billiam Smith's chest and bang away, head to body, throwing hard shots, putting all the power he can into his shots. That's what he's going to do. Brandon has a good work rate and decent power. Decent left hook. Billiam Smith might have to box more than he's accustomed to or might want to. His biggest issue could be if he's came back too soon after the beating he took against Zerdo. Looking forward to it.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Anthony Yarde from Essex. 33 years of age, 26 wins, 24 inside the distance, 3 losses. Lyndon Arthur, 24 wins, 16 inside the distance, 2 losses. 33 years of age, same age as Anthony Yarde. The rubber match. Lyndon got his jab going in the first fight and edged out a tight decision. The impression I got was Yarde threw the fight away. Sometimes Yarde opts for the more American style of boxing, turning his shoulder, pull countering and stuff, rather than get that thumping jab going, throw some body shots, high guard, move your head. And when he approached Lyndon like that in the first fight, you could see the keys to victory. And in the second fight, he executed beautifully and stopped Lyndon in 4. Lyndon was never in it. The rubber match, however, after looking at Yarde against Ralph Vilkans, I'm not sure if he's boxing for the right reasons right now. Is it just the dough? Or does he actually believe he can become a world champion? I don't know. Vilkans took him the distance, and Yarde appeared to run out of ideas very early after flooring Vilkans. If Lyndon can get through the first 2 or 3 and establish his jab, it could be a long night. Yarde should win this fight. I'm not sure if he stops Lyndon this time, but points is good enough. If he can win a UD majority split, it's all good. I think points win for Yarde this time around. He mustn't neglect the body because it's one of his strengths, is his body punching. Then he has a chance of stopping Lyndon, but it's a big occasion, high stakes. I feel Yarde's going to make a few mistakes, box the wrong fight, and he's going to have to go the long way to get the W.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
CHEAVON CLARKE defends his British Cruiserweight title. Chev is now 34 years of age. His record is 10 wins, 7 inside the distance, 1 loss. The 1 loss came in his last fight to Leonardo Moscow for the European title late last year. Chev lost a split decision. He was decked early, but outpointed by his very physically strong opponent who fought very well on the inside. He defends the title on this undercard against Vidal Riley. Vidal is 7 years younger than CHEAVON, with 12 wins, 7 inside the distance. He has a height advantage. He's 6'1". Some people are saying this may have came too soon for Vidal. I think it's came at the right time. Vidal determined to shake off the YouTuber label, as he used to train KSI and he was seen a lot on the influencer circuit. But he's a pro boxer through and through. 12-0, signed up with Boxer. I feel this is a tough one to pick. I feel CHEAVON is a little more seasoned, has fought the tougher opponents. Like late 2023, Vidal dominated Nathan Quarles without looking devastating. He also beat Mikhail Lawal 2024. Wide decision, but it wasn't very entertaining. Wasn't awe-inspiring at all. It was very cautious, safety-first approach. I'm not sure if he was injured. And then against Dan Garber, he stopped Dan in 2. That was at heavyweight, and he looked okay. Some would argue, how else are you supposed to look against Dan Garber, except anything less than spectacular? Now, CHEAVON is going to have to try and draw Vidal into a fight. I believe Vidal has a speed advantage. I believe Vidal will have to fight with CHEAVON at times if he is drawn into close quarters, if he is to take the British title back to the ends. Vidal is a Tottenham man, like self. And this will have to be the most complete performance of his career. It's a difficult one to pick, because I can see moments where Vidal struggles with the inside fighting, where CHEAVON, who's took on the likes of Moscow, who is now 15-0, Vasyl Dukar, He fought him in his 4th fight. That was a very tough opponent and has defended the British title a couple of times. I'm a little undecided. I feel CHEAVON is going to have to force the pace. If VIDDAL can win from the outside behind the jab, frame 1-2s, he should do so. It might not look spectacular, but he should do so. It's a difficult one to pick. The younger man, VIDDAL, perhaps edges it out. But CHEAVON can box a little to himself.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.